H1N1 flu is posing a serious threat to China's People's Liberation Army, with at least 51 outbreaks of the virus reported at army barracks in recent weeks. Chang, the head of the health section of the Army's General Logistics Department, said that some of the outbreaks involved several hundred soldiers at a time. He added that preventing the spread of the virus was proving difficult as the number of cases was on the rise. The PLA held a meeting on flu prevention and control in Beijing this week, where it warned that the virus had become a serious threat to the army. An army newspaper, the People's Liberation Army Daily, reported that some soldiers were critically ill and others were in a serious condition. It did not say how many of such cases had been reported. The PLA is the world's largest standing army with 2.3 million personnel. And in related news, a 60-year-old man has become the first recorded H1N1 death in Shanghai. Doctors at the Shanghai Health Bureau say the man died of complications related to the H1N1 flu. As of yesterday, Shanghai reported a total of 2,123 H1N1 flu cases, including 35 serious cases and 1 death. 3 children remain in critical condition. Doctors call the death a sporadic case and say they have seen no signs of a worsening outbreak in the city. Dr. Lu Hongzhou, a member of Shanghai's H1N1 flu expert panel, says the city should brace itself for the next peak, expected to start in mid-February and last until March. China's one-child policy should be loosened further by allowing more couples to have 2 children. That's according to an article published in the government-controlled People's Daily. Tian Xueyuan, head of the China Population Association, said a married couple that included at least one child partner should be allowed to have 2 children. He called for the change to be implemented immediately in rural areas and applied to urban families by 2011. Tian argued that this would relieve many one-child families of the burden of caring for the elderly. Calls for relaxation of the policy have been growing. In April, researchers called for the expansion of the 2-child policy and warned China faces a major ageing problem. Tai Feng, director of the Institute of Population and Labour Economics, has said the 1-child policy is not suitable in the long term and has warned that under current conditions, China's population will get old before it gets rich. 3 more people have been sentenced to death for murder and other crimes in connection with the July 5th riots in Urumqi, the capital of China's Xinjiang region. Friday's sentences follow 5 other death sentences handed down on Thursday. These are for killing a police officer with a brick, kicking bystanders to death and other crimes committed during the riots, which killed 197 people, most of them Han Chinese. Officials say more than 1,600 others were injured. Another suspect was sentenced to life imprisonment by the Intermediate People's Court of Urumqi, while 3 others were given various jail terms. Last month, 9 rioters were executed for their part in the riots, China's worst violence in decades. Now, in business news, General Motors has set up a $100 million joint venture in Hong Kong, along with China's Shanghai Automotive Industry Corp, to focus on the Asian markets. As part of the new deal, the new venture will bring under its umbrella all the Indian operations of GM. The US manufacturer will also produce and sell small cars and mini commercial vehicles developed by Shanghai GM and SAIC GM Wuling Automotive Co. in India. Analysts said the cooperation in overseas markets would help SAIC in its goals of being amongst the top 5 global auto brands, as well as supporting GM by strengthening its presence in emerging markets. The 2 companies currently operate 8 joint ventures in China. Finally, there are sad faces at Washington's National Zoo as the time to say goodbye to its beloved 4-year-old panda, Shan, draws near. Panda will be sent to China in line with the loan agreement that brought the cub's parents to the US capital. Shan, who was born in 2005 to international fanfare, was supposed to be sent to China 2 years ago. However, both sides extended the agreement by 2 years. The cub's parents, mother Mei Xiang and father Tian Tian, are on a 10-year $10 million loan to Washington Zoo, which ends next year. The cub has been one of the zoo's most popular attractions since its birth 4 years ago. Just 3 other US zoos also have giant pandas: Atlanta, Memphis and in San Diego. And that's the BON News headlines for now, but we'll be back with more news after this.